Welcome into the Cowboys Report. Some injury news, roster moves we'll get into. DeAndre Hopkins trade rumors as well on today's show. So make sure you're a part of the Noti gang here at Chat Sports and the Cowboys Report so you never miss anything that we do. Only about 20% of you, less than that actually, have your notifications set to all, meaning when there's a video, you may or may not get a push sent to your phone telling you there's a new video up here on the Cowboys Report. Be the first to know when things happen, know when our videos come out. Click the bell icon, change it from personalized to all, and help me feed my family and never miss anything here on the Cowboys Report. We begin briefly with some roster moves made by the Cowboys, technically 4 of them. Mackenzie Alexander has been placed on the practice squad injured list. So some type of injury suffered, unfortunately, by Alexander. He wasn't really playing for Dallas. He had a chance earlier in the year. Seems like it's going to be the Deron Bland and Israel Mukuamu show moving forward. Sheldrick Redwine, meanwhile, was signed to the practice squad open spot. Redwine comes in, offers you some safety depth, and you want a more defensive back help anyway. And 2 players have been designated to return to practice. Wide receiver Simi Fehoko and linebacker Devin Harper. If you're going, that's weird timing. It is, but it also isn't. I would not anticipate Fehoko or Harper joining the active roster at this exact moment. They're not going to, but you get up to, potentially, if you keep winning games, 21 days of extra bonus practice. In the event there's an injury, you can bring one of those guys back if you need to. But they did this with Josh Ball down the stretch last year. Just getting them some extra practice work helped them grow and develop as young players. Let's get into the Cowboys injury report. This is the Wednesday one. I wouldn't anticipate any changes for the Thursday one. Jayron Kearse, more on him in a little bit, will remain limited. So will DeMarcus Lawrence. Jason Peters will not go on Wednesday. Did not go on Wednesday. Will not go on Thursday. Quick notes on the 3 guys on the right side. Israel Mukuamu, Trayvon Mullen, Tyron Smith. All had a designation, hamstring, illness, and knee. But they were all full in what was a estimated participation because it was just a walkthrough. It wasn't really a real practice because, hey, you got a tight timeline, and Cowboys do that. Worries me about the physicality, but we'll get to that one later in the week. But Mukuamu, Mullen, Smith, they are all fine. Now, Jayron Kearse will be limited this week as the Cowboys manage that knee injury, the MCL sprain, so he can play. And that's a big deal for the Cowboys. Kearse himself has said 100% chance he's playing. If this were Week 18 and a bit of a more meaningless football game, I'm not sure Kearse would be playing. But you're in the playoffs, so if you can go, you're going, even if you're not quite 100%. Although, to be fair, Jayron Kearse has not been 100% this season. He has been banged up pretty much all year long. He's tweaked his knee feels like 5 times. His shoulder got banged up on him. Didn't matter against the Bucs. He was awesome. Only 41 snaps because of the injury, 3 tackles, 3 pass breakups. It was carrying Russell Gage in coverage. That was pretty damn impressive. Had the only potentially ever red zone INT for Tom Brady in a Bucs uniform. Great play by Kearse. This defense needs him. I think he is a pivotal part of what they do on that side of the football, not just on the field, I'd say in the locker room as well. So our pinned question of the day: who is the MVP of this Cowboys defense? And you can't pick Micah Parsons. That one's too easy. Take Micah out of the equation. Is it a Kearse? Is it a Trayvon Diggs? Will probably be a popular answer. Pick one non-Micah Parsons player to name the MVP of the Cowboys defense. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. The dark horse answer, by the way, and I think we'll give him some flowers on a future video this week along with Israel Mukuamu from last week, is Leighton Vander Esch. Cowboys defense had their best game in a while when Hankins and LVE came back. I thought Vander Esch was awesome. 1 year, $2 million was fantastic value. He has been a little bit more like the rookie year, Vander Esch, thankfully. You also might see some write-in votes for Tank Lawrence. He has not been, I would say, that close to 100% this year, playing through that foot injury. It just needs time to recover. He has been limited all last 2 months, it feels like. That's the Cowboys' plan. Limited full on the final day of practice, and then plays. I thought he played fine against the Bucs. He'll be counted on as a run stopper against the Niners team that runs the ball pretty damned well. As for Jason Peters, not nearly as good of news on this front. He is not expected to practice on Thursday. I would say there's pretty little chance he is able to go. I would be shocked if he played. He's not going to practice Thursday, did not practice Wednesday. The hip flexor takes more than 6 days of rest to get healed. It's just, I don't think it's going to happen. So the O-line will be Tyler Smith, Connor McGovern, Tyler Biadasz, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, Josh Ball. You might see a roster move made to get to 8 offensive linemen, but that's a Saturday, Friday problem for the Cowboys. This will be a hell of a test for this offense line. They played great against the Bucs. Biadasz got beat a few times up front, but hey, he's gotten through his own high ankle sprain. He is not, by the way, on the injury report. This Niners defense worries me. Should worry me. I think it's the best defense in the entire NFL. So I think that's a big factor for Dallas. If the fronts are pivotal in this game, Niners defense worries me. Hopefully the Cowboys stepped up to the task. What no longer worries me is paying for subscriptions I don't even use anymore. Do you know how much your subscriptions really cost? Most Americans think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions, but the actual total is more like $200 plus. That's right, folks. You could be wasting hundreds of dollars each month on subscriptions you didn't even know about. There's this app I love using that takes care of it for me. It's called Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. The app shows all your subscriptions in one place and then cancels for you whatever you don't still want. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you didn't know you were paying for. Maybe you were double charged or a subscription you didn't know about. They'll take care of it for you. To cancel a subscription, all you have to do is press cancel. Rocket Money takes care of the rest. No more dealing with the whole, I got to log in. I hit forget password. I got to redo my password. Wait for the email to come in. It's the same as I thought I typed in last time. Guess not. And then you got to prove you're not a robot as the robot asks you. It's very weird. Not an issue with Rocket Money. They make it much easier for you. Get rid of useless subscriptions. Go to rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. That's rocketmoney.com/Cowboys. Could save you hundreds per year. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Next up is DeAndre Hopkins. The trade rumors are back. We focused on injuries because, this is a future Cowboys. Problem is not the right word, but potential option. They're not going to make a move right now. Teams are in the playoff race, but the Cowboys are near the top of the DeAndre Hopkins trade odds amid the report that Hopkins is going to get traded. The Cardinals told the GM candidates they're going to move on from Hopkins. Seems like he doesn't want to be there. Now, he is older, and he is expensive, likely wants a new deal, but he's still DeAndre Hopkins. The latest odds on destinations if traded for DeAndre Hopkins: the Green Bay Packers, the New England Patriots, the Chiefs, Giants, and Cowboys. Of course, those last 3 teams all still in the midst of their own playoff push. Do you want to trade for DeAndre Hopkins? Y for yes, N for no. Get those answers in for me in the comments section. Y for yes, you do. N for no, you don't. We're going to spend some more time on it, but I want you guys to go vote in the comments right now. In general, I think this offseason, and we're getting a little bit ahead of our skis here. That's okay. I'm looking for speed at wide receiver. Hopkins is not a burner, but he's great at football. I would not be mad if they added another great wide receiver to pair. I mean, man, Lamb and Hopkins together sounds like a hell of a lot of fun. Although his numbers have been down the past 2 years, in large part due to suspension, injury, and his quarterback getting hurt as well. He still went for 717 yards in 9 games. If you were to do the prorated averages from the past 2 seasons, he is still a 1,000-yard receiver, not that different than the 2019 version in the end. 2020 was still a very special year, and I do think receiver is an area this team has to consider looking for options at in the offseason. CeeDee Lamb, love him. He is your wide receiver 1, which is a factor we'll come back to here in a little bit. Michael Gallup looked a lot better against the Bucs, hoping that is a sign of things to continue since he looked off pretty much the entire year. Noah Brown is who he is. T.Y. Hilton has been a nice stopgap option for you, but, he's not really a long-term piece, I don't think. Maybe bring back him as a veteran. Sure, Turpin's a gadget guy, and who knows what you have in Jalen Tolbert. Now, the first part you got to figure out is the trade cost. And I think this is what it would be. Hopkins is in a very weird spot where he is older, he likely wants a new deal, and that does bring down the trade value. This is not a 25-year-old DeAndre Hopkins who would probably fetch 2 first-round picks. This is, back 9 of his career Hopkins. So I think it really is a guess. A 2nd and 5th round pick is about right for DeAndre Hopkins. But there are 3 things you have to consider here. Number 1, the wide receiver trade market is broken. It makes absolutely no sense. Chase Claypool went for a 2nd round pick, became number 32 overall. A horrible deal for the Bears. I know Harrison Graham, our Bears now say, "Oh, you got to wait a year." No, you don't have to. It's a bad trade. It's a bad trade. I don't know what they were doing. Cooper went for a 5th and a 6th. Then he wildly outplayed Chase. A 5th and a 6th round pick swap for Cooper. The trade market at receiver is all kinds of funky. So I think a 2nd and 5th is right because you also must factor in age and contract. In the event you trade for DeAndre Hopkins, who, of course, himself has been subject of a broken trade, thanks, Bill O'Brien, the age is a real factor. He's getting up there in age, and the contract, he wants a new deal. So you're probably going to have to pay him $20 million minimum per year. You're all, if not 25, and frankly, probably more than that. You're going to be paying Lamb that too. So do you want to invest premium draft capital and pay Lamb and Hopkins, whether it's done this year, next year, whenever, about $50 million per year? It's a lot to invest in at wide receiver. I would wonder if the Cowboys try to find a slightly more affordable option in the end. It is, of course, the playoff run. We will be live on Sunday, hour early to preview and have fun for the Cowboys-Niners game. Off-season coverage. We'll have that in mass as well. Make sure you guys don't miss out. Subscribe and make sure those notifications are set to all.